Edgerton. Jesus. Numi Rapace was Leela? That's our fucking opening. Okay. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is our post-Geekout reaction for Bright.
Which was not a bright idea to watch.
No. I need to review something this week, and I didn't want to go outside because the wind chill is literally 3 degrees. Actually, I checked that back when the sun was up. At this point, it's probably in the negatives. It is ungodly cold outside. I went outside earlier today for like 5 minutes without my gloves on. My hands physically hurt. Like I was watching them turn red and darker as I was outside. I would rather go to watch Shakespeare in the Park in this theater in this weather than sit here and watch Bright again. People have been saying that this is the worst film of the year. I will be shocked if it is, but I'm not going to argue with someone.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
At the moment, it might be my worst of the year, but I have yet to start the Gauntlet of Garbage. I was actually planning on saving this until next week when we do the Gauntlet of Garbage, which for anybody who doesn't know, the Gauntlet of Garbage is when every single year I take all the films that were called the worst of the year and watch them all back to back to back to back, just to kind of cleanse my palate. I've always said it's kind of healthy to do that because then you stop looking at okay films or mediocre films and going, oh, that was terrible. When you actually expose yourself to truly terrible films, it gives you a better range of what movies are out there. But I had to watch this tonight because there was nothing else that I could do. I didn't like it.
No.
It was not that great. No.
No.
Not very good. No.
It's like...
This is a film about, okay, let me just say, I love the concept of it.
Yes.
I do love the concept. The concept is basically, hey, what happens in those Lord of the Rings style worlds 2,000 years later when it catches up to modern times and we've got like technology and modern day cities and everybody's kind of like just gone, we're not fighting each other anymore. And they've just kind of like started living together in cities with one another. So basically you have humans with elves and orcs and probably other things, but you never see anything else. You hear them mention it, like at one point you saw a centaur in the background.
Yeah.
Not moving, because that would have cost too much money. This really feels, this movie was directed by David Ayers, who is not a guy you would expect to make something for Netflix, and it stars Will Smith.
Yeah.
You would not expect him to be in a Netflix show. It really feels, I have a theory, like they made this film, they shot everything, and then before they started the post-production on it, they looked at what they had and they went, oh my god, this is awful. This is bad. We can't put this out in theaters. Let's bury this and never mention it again. And then Netflix came in there and dug this thing up like some cursed idol and went, oh, we can patch this up. And like Netflix footed the bill for all the special effects on a film that should have gone to theaters. That's the only thing that I can imagine. That's the only thing that makes sense for this.
Yeah.
Because how on earth did David Ayers agree to do this? I mean, David Ayers, this is also coming off of Suicide Squad. Same thing goes for Will Smith. And it really feels like David Ayers just went, I don't know what I'm fucking doing with my career anymore. People,
like, I feel like Will Smith is in the same boat.
Yeah, like Will Smith, here's the thing, Will Smith tanked his own career because he was like, I'm gonna make my son a star. And everyone was like, we didn't ask for that.
No, I kind of felt like Will Smith knew he was getting old, so he was like, I'm gonna make my son a star and he'll carry on the family name.
Just like, hanging him, holding him up there at the top of the mountain, yeah. The circle of life. Except that he was like, hey, I don't want
It's like, I don't want to do this.
Dad, I don't want to be a celebrity. I just want to be a rapper now. No, I don't want to be a rapper anymore, Dad. Why you make me do that? I don't know what his kid actually wants to do and what his dad forced him to do, but in those first couple of years, it was clear his dad was forcing him to do this. He was one of the worst show parents I've ever seen. Like, those parents who, like, put their little babies in, like, those, shutting those creepy
was it a stage moms?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Stage parents, that's what I was looking for. Oh my god. But he basically just gave up on his own career to try and turn his son into something when no one wanted that.
And he brought his other two kids. Like.
No, he tried to turn one of them into a musician.
Yeah, but that
with my hair back and forth. Yeah,
her, but
And it feels like he has now just finally realized, oh shit, this ain't working. I gotta go and be a celebrity again. And he's lost it.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how anymore. At least he lost his agent. And his agent is just like, I don't know where the fuck to put you in
Yeah,
anymore.
it's like, you can tell Will Smith was trying to use his charisma in this, but it's like the character he was given was just a straight up asshole.
A lot of this... Man, I don't know if it was the character... Well, that's part of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much to blame for this movie is the writing, the directing, or the acting.
Yeah.
Because it feels like everybody, it feels like all the actors didn't give a shit. It feels like the director didn't give a shit. And it feels like the writer was beating off as he wrote this. Because here's the thing. This is not the worst made film I've seen this year. But there is an X factor when it comes to judging truly bad movies that you can't see just from a glimpse. You only get just from fully watching it, and it's arrogance. And this film feels so fucking arrogant. This feels like some snobbish, preppish, trust fund kid who thinks he's a genius, Wile E. Coyote style genius. Came in and went, I'm writing the greatest thing that has ever been seen.
It's like, I hate to break it to you, but it's already been written. Fables, the comics, like...
Oh, fuck, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I was seriously thinking about it. It's like, wow, Fables did this so much better. Like...
I didn't even think about that, but you're kind of right.
Yeah, the whole, like, fairy tales in, like, the real world situation kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of there. But, oh my god, I bet Once Upon a Time is probably even better than this. But no, this really, because here's the thing. This is a movie in which they use orcs to be metaphors for racial discrimination. All forms of racial discrimination. And they are not... A little subtlety goes a long way. They are not subtle about that at all. I am amazed that Max Landis was actually able to write this script after having that surgery to replace his hands with big slabs of meat. Did I say replace his hams? I screwed up the jokes. Replace his hands with big ham fist. This is the most ham-fisted movie I have ever seen in my life. That's why I said it feels like he wrote this while beating off, because it feels like a guy who's like, I'm so smart. Oh my god, the cleverness in this dialogue of comparing the orcs to the struggles of everyone out there.
I am so bright, bright. That's what the title will be.
God damn. And listen, I know there's some people out there who think that Max Landis is a genius because he used his money when he was younger to pay some actors to dress up like Justice League members while he told you why Doomsday was a bad supervillain. So in other words, he just did what 90% of other comic book YouTubers out there do. He just had a ton of money to invest in it. That doesn't make him...
Speaking of which, like, the characters in this, they just look like they're in Comic-Con. Like,
they... again,
actually, I take that back. I've seen cosplayers at Comic-Con with way better outfits.
The orcs look terrible in here. Like, the makeup on them is even changing. Like, it's almost like a lava lamp at times on his face. Because there's parts of orcs' faces that are green and parts that are white. And I swear, the main orc we're following, the white parts change at some parts, at some moments. Like, the white on his face at the end of this film, I swear it's not the same as it is at the beginning of this film. It's such an odd thing.
And the elves are just people with, like, extensions on their ears,
and
like
big ass,
and like colored contacts. Like.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, as I was saying, this film, it's a movie that's about the struggles of African Americans, of the Latino community, of everybody who faces discrimination, especially from police. And it's written by the whitest motherfucker on the planet. And yeah, you can just tell this is a guy who had no idea what he was doing. Like, it is offensive at times. When you have, like, an orc up there talking to Will Smith and saying, do you know what it feels like to be hated by your own race? And I was like, Did no one come into the room at any time and tell you, stop what you're fucking doing? This is not going to go over well.
Or like when there was like a fairy that was giving him a promise, like fairy lives don't matter, and just beats the shit out of that thing. It's like, wow.
I forgot that.
Yeah, wow, seriously.
It really made you go, who the fuck thought this was a good idea? Like, this seriously was the script for this was written by a guy who got no notes from anyone. And when he showed it to people and they said to him, what the fuck are you doing? He said, well, you're clearly just not smart enough to understand it. Dude, this was clearly written by someone who did not take constructive criticism. And I understand a lot of times you get criticism that sounds constructive in their mind, but it actually comes out as, this is stupid and dumb and terrible. And that's not really good constructive criticism. And I'm sure that's what most of the criticism was that he got on this. So I can understand him going, oh, you're just being some troll who just doesn't understand. I'll put trolls in the movie now, too. No,
they
there's
didn't.
no trolls. They didn't have money for that.
No.
This thing keeps forgetting that it's a sci-fi film.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
there's a moment in here
like
where
the orcs are just people with like blotches on their skin.
Yeah.
And that's really
like
it.
they have super strength, but that like only comes up in fights.
And
it's like you could have done some other stuff.
Also, they were supposed to have like a keen sense of smell, but they were like
they forget that.
Yeah, it's like there were times where like the orc was like walking across, and like there was some guy hiding, and he didn't notice them.
The entire end of this film is nothing but the orc guy getting taken by surprise and having people sneak up on him. And earlier in this film, he said that orcs have an amazing sense of smell, and he was able to identify someone just from their sense of smell. At the end of this, it's like, so shouldn't he like know if there are people in a room? Shouldn't he know if someone's sneaking up behind him? I mean, if you can smell someone well enough to know they're not the same person that you were chasing a moment ago, that really feels like it would come up. It feels like if someone was sneaking up behind you, you'd be able to go, I smell something. Is everyone just downwind of him at all times in this movie?
And like, here's the thing, it's like the reason why he didn't tell the police that he smelled the wrong guy is because
they don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry, I guess.
At the beginning of this movie, it opens up with Will Smith, who is a cop, and it opens up with him being shot with a shotgun, almost point blank, by an orc, and then his orc cop partner has to run after the orc, and they keep going, okay, something doesn't match up about the story. He says that the orc then jumped up onto a ladder and ran away from him. Orcs don't have tall vertical leaps. I mean, how many orcs are in the NBA? None. They just can't jump that high. It's not racism, it's just science. And it's like, God damn, what is wrong with you for writing this?
And it's like, he explains to Will Smith that the reason why he let him get away was because, like you said, he smelled.
He ran up on this kid in an alleyway and thought it was him. They smelled him and knew it wasn't him, and then he saw the cops running up and knew if the cops caught him, they would murder this kid who did not do this thing.
And so Will Smith is like, why didn't you tell the truth? And he was like, well, you wouldn't have believed me, would you? And it's like, considering how weird, how you couldn't smell an elf behind you,
your story doesn't match up at all. But we should talk about the fact that Will Smith would not have believed him, because Will Smith's character is awful in this film.
Oh, he is.
You do not want to root for him at all.
Like, he's constantly like belittling and saying all this horrible shit to his partner right in front of his face.
Yeah, here's the thing. As I said, the orcs in here are supposed to be metaphors for every single group out there that faces discrimination. Will Smith is the most racist motherfucker in this movie.
Yes.
Except for everyone else in this movie.
Like,
every single one of the cops in here, every cop at this station. First off, he's like the first orc cop in history. I'm like, I don't believe that at all. I mean, if you have orcs living this closely with human beings,
for 2,000
years, there would be a cop at some point. But every other cop at this station wants to murder this orc. They're like, if I ever catch him alone, I'm going to kill him. My great-great-great-grandparents killed orcs by the thousands over in Russia. And I was like, what the fuck is, you're in LA, what the fuck is wrong with you? But yeah, it's like, it gets to a point which I had to look at this like, I know you're making this a metaphor for stuff, but I don't even think you know what you're making this a metaphor for at this point. But Will Smith, he's like, yeah, don't kill my partner. But then the moment he's alone, he's like, fuck this orc motherfucker. Get him out of my car. I do not want him to be a cop. No orc should be cops. And I'm like, okay, you're not as terrible as the other people, but you're not good.
You're still an asshole.
I'm not going to root for you because you're the lesser of two evils. The only person I kind of like in here is the orc dude. Except I can't understand half the fucking words that come out of his mouth. Like, every word, he has to take a breath after everything.
I think it might have to do with the fact that he's wearing, like...
But that's the other thing. No, he's taking a breath after almost every single thing he says. But then everything he says is also further jumbled by these fake teeth he has in. And it's like, part of the story in here is that he has these teeth that have been sawed down because his family is disgraced. They're considered unblooded. And I was like, oh, then why the fuck did you have to put fake teeth in there at all? I would have been fine with him just having no teeth in there, just saying that they got ripped out or something, rather than sawed down. Because that's even crazier to me. That's like, oh, we're unblooded, so we have to saw our fangs down because we're not allowed to have them. It's like, wouldn't it be like, what happens if an orc just says no? They just say, I'm not going to saw my teeth down. What are the repercussions for that? How do other orcs know that you're unblooded, except for the fact that you saw your own fangs down? Would it be possible for you to just go, no, I'm not going to saw my own fangs down, and then just show up with fully grown out tusks, and then just go, hey guys, I'm blooded. Oh, okay, cool, I guess you are.
Well, apparently they can smell these orcs and be like, hey, you're unblooded.
What the fuck does unblooded smell like? We get no, like, sense of that. We get no, like, description or any shit on that. We get no idea that, like, I mean, is it like a magic thing? Is, like, blooded, like, a spell that gets transferred into you and then you smell of it? Because at the end of this film, all these gangster orcs that they were following, they decided to recognize them, and then they cut their hands and hold it up and go, oh.
It's like, yeah.
I was like, okay, so then he becomes blooded, but he didn't, like, it's not like they cut his hand open and, like, shook his hand or something.
Like, I thought something like that was gonna happen.
Yeah, no, they just cut his hand and then showed him from a distance across the street. And it was
at
like,
night, where there's smoke and everything, so I don't even know if they could see.
He could smell it.
You can smell blood.
Okay, so how did the sense of being blooded transfer onto you now? Like, how the fuck do all orcs just get, like, instant knowledge that you've been blooded now by this? This is fucking madness.
It's an orc thing you humans wouldn't understand.
By the way, there's a part in here in which Will Smith calls an orc a Shrek-looking motherfucker.
I know,
and tells him to go home to Fiona, and all I could think was, you still made Shrek in this universe?
I was thinking the same thing.
That seems rather offensive.
It's like Shrek would have been like super racist.
Yeah,
like,
that would have been like some Song in the South shit.
Yeah,
in, like,
exactly.
Their universe.
It's like, maybe it was banned eventually.
Maybe it was, yeah. Disney locked that shit in the vault. It's not even their film and they had to lock it in the vault. Yeah, man, this is a film that was written by somebody who had no idea what he was doing with the social commentary aspect of this. And you guys know me. I love films that take sci-fi and fantasy and use it as political metaphors, use it to make social commentary. I love that stuff. But I want you guys to know, just because you do it doesn't mean I'm gonna like it. You still have to do it well.
Yeah.
This is dog shit what they do in this film.
Yeah, and I hate saying this, that you have to, like, rely on special effects so much, but if you are gonna have, like...
If it's gonna be there.
Yeah, if you insist that this is about, like, elves and orcs and all these mythical animals and creatures, then you need to have the budget to make them and actually, like, make them realistic and believable.
And you should also actually do the fucking work to actually explain your fucking world.
Yes.
Because all they say is that 2,000 years ago, the 9 races fought against the Dark Lord, but the orcs decided to join the Dark Orc. That's Dark Lord. That's why everyone hates orcs. But then, like, at the fucking end of this, the orc who we've been following tells us that, oh yes, the first unblooded orc, he's the one who united the 9 together and fought. And he's telling this Will Smith like everyone knows that. He's like, hold on, man, you know this. I was like, Do you? Because then why does everyone hate orcs if he was the leader of the 9 groups that fought against them?
Well, it's because it's a fairy tale, and you don't believe in fairy tales in a world full of orcs and elves.
Was that part of this? 'Cause
I don't know.
No, everyone believes this. This is like, you know, this is like the Revolutionary War to them. Like, they know this. Like, it's part of their history book.
I know, but I feel like certain parts
Oh,
that
like
they
the
don't.
orc part, people don't really believe it?
Yeah,
Oh.
and it's like, I feel like that's really stupid because
Yeah.
it's like, you are talking to an orc, but you don't believe this magic stuff?
Well,
like,
no, it's not that he doesn't believe magic. Magic is a fact in this world. Everybody knows that. I think that what you're trying to say is that he doesn't believe the orc's tale about the orc who united them. He believes more like the 9 races united on themselves. But that's the thing about this. We don't know anything about this world other than there's a Dark Lord and some people are trying to bring this Dark Lord back. But they keep throwing out there bits of this story.
Yeah.
At the time they need bits of this story to justify the next thing that they do in the story. Like, there's a moment in which the orc who we're following gets murdered, and then the elf who's been there this whole time uses this wand to bring him back to life, which we'll talk about the wand in a second. They bring him back to life, and then all the orcs who killed that orc, they look at him and just go, "This is part of the prophecy." And I was like, what fucking where did that come from? You can't just introduce the thing that will save you at the moment you need it to save you. This is and they do that constantly in this shit. They constantly, you don't know anything about like that battle. You don't know anything about the history, about the myths or anything that have to do with these people until it plays into the story at the exact moment they need it to play in the story. That's
plot
when they
holes.
No,
Plot holes and Deus Ex Machinas. And
it's not plot holes, it's Deus Ex Machinas. A plot hole is if they don't explain anything. This is them explaining a thing by just going, oh fuck, just make some shit up to explain it. They're done. Yeah, and you guys know me, I fucking hate Deus Ex Machinas. Like, that is one of my biggest gripes. This film is loaded with that shit. But okay, let's talk about the wand. Again, there's some cool ideas
the
here.
MacGuffin.
Yeah. Let's talk about the wand. There are some cool ideas in here. I do actually really like that idea that, as we mentioned, it's all these races just coming together and, oh, they're just living together now. It's in modern day. What happens to Lord of the Rings when it catches up to modern times? That's actually kind of a cool idea. And I love that they look at magic wands. They describe it as being like a nuke. Excuse me. They describe it as being like, they find this magic wand and they say it's like basically discovering like a terrorist bomb. And I was like, oh shit, that's actually kind of a cool way of looking at that. They say that it has the power to grant wishes and that only brights can touch that. And most brights are elves. However, 1 in a million humans is also a bright. Guess what Will Smith is going to be? Oh my goodness, oh wow.
Oh, a plot twist that we was totally expecting.
Yeah, we all fucking saw it coming. Like, there's no suspense leading up to that moment. Also, at the beginning of this film, like, the first time you get a hint that Will Smith is going to be a bright is long before you know what the fuck brights are.
Yeah.
When they meet this crazy dude just swinging a sword, he looks like a homeless guy just swinging a sword in the middle of the street. They arrest him, and they just start speaking Orcish to the orc, and then he's just mentioned like, oh yes, you know he's special, kill him, and you can come back to the Dark Lord, and the orc's like, no, I don't want any part of this. But later on, the feds show up and investigate that guy, interrogate that guy, and they go, oh, you're part of the Shield of Light, huh? I was like, what the fuck is that? And it just occurred to me, that never gets fucking explained what that is. They mentioned they're the people who are going to fight off the Dark Lord, and at the end of this, the elf we've been following says, you have to get me back to them. They're the only ones who can save me. It's like, I don't know what the fuck they are. You never told us in this movie what they are, the thing that's supposed to save you. And we don't see them aside from the one crazy homeless guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the place where the Shield of Light is, it was already like taken over
by the evil people.
Yeah, the evil elves, the rogue elves, because
Yeah. So were the rogue elves part of the Shield of Light and they were using it for bad or something? I don't fucking know what's happening. This movie is the worst case of someone explaining to you their OCs and their own original story and not giving a shit that they haven't told you the correct pieces of information to make you understand it. this is the worst D&D campaign you will ever experience in your life. But they find the wand, and like I said, I kind of like the idea that like that's what wands are treated like in this world. It's like, okay, that's actually cool. But they find this elf there, and the elf only speaks Elvish. She doesn't speak English or anything.
It's like she doesn't even act human or
She doesn't.
No, because like all the other elves, they're like very sophisticated and
dignified.
Yes, very dignified. But this one is, she's like.
Yeah, she's wearing like dirty overalls, and she's like got chopped up hair, and she's
like I compared her to a cat because she was like constantly like looking at stuff and pointing it.
Sci-fi films where they find like a robot or a genetic engineered creature or something, and they're locked up in some case, and when they wake up, they're what is all this? What? You know, like the girl from Fifth Element,
yes.
or like any of those kind of things. She feels like that.
Yeah, and I don't know why.
There's no reason for it.
Yes, because spoiler alert, her sister is like the head evil elf.
And she was part of their organization and working with them until she realized she was trying to bring back the Dark Lord. So it's like, then you're just as like educated and dignified as she is.
Like unless she deliberately like locked her sister up for like a billion years or something.
That's not part of this.
I know, it's like she doesn't know what like a hand dryer in a bathroom is.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no way you can be that sheltered. I'm sorry.
Dude, unless you have private servants bringing you like your hot towels at all times. Yeah, dude, it is. They did not know what fucking story they wanted to tell here. They're combining like 9 different sci-fi tropes into this film just because it's fucking cool. You don't understand it.
Oh, and then suddenly she becomes more humanized when she has to like resurrect the orcs.
No, she doesn't become that. She decides to reveal that. When she has to save the elf guy, because throughout this entire film,
orc guy, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Because throughout this entire film, she is just tagging along with them after they discover her, and there is one other cool thing in which they can't get past a certain area with the wand because then it just stops them flat because the wand has a like spell on it that makes sure it won't go too far away from its owner. That's kind of a cool idea, although I don't know why you would make the range on that spell that freaking long. I mean, why not, I don't know, 5 feet? That seems kind of important. But yeah, so they can't leave and go and get help on this. Plus, they end up killing a bunch of dirty cops at the beginning of this who wanted to take the wand and use it for, like, use it to get whatever wish they want, because it basically allows you to do that, get whatever power you want.
But only if you're a worthy of holding it or some shit.
Yeah, that's a weird thing, too. Yeah, it's like, okay, only brights can hold it with their bare hands. Like, they say early on in here, if anybody who isn't a bright holds it with their bare hand, they instantly just
disintegrate,
poof, like, just dust, they explode.
So he puts on gloves.
He puts on a glove, this dirty cop puts on a glove, grabs it, he's like, oh, wow. Oh, and he's holding it just fine. I was like, what the fuck is the problem?
It's like, okay, so apparently anyone can grab this as long as they're wearing gloves. Like,
I'm sorry. Like, is that a problem in LA?
Like, I thought they were like enchanted gloves that allow someone to hold it, but like, no. they're just regular gloves.
It was like, evidence gloves, yeah. There you go, I have the ultimate power now. Take that, Thanos, this is my infinity gauntlet. I use them to scrub dishes. Yeah, it is. So, they can't get too far away, so they have to tag along with this elf carrying the wand in like this bag. And the elf only speaks Elfish, and all she says is, they're coming, oh, we have to get away from here, oh, they're coming, and it's like, yeah, she is like some weird alien child who has never been outside, and then the moment that she has to then use the magic to revive the orc guy, she then speaks perfect English, and is like, wait, what? And he goes, yes, I've decided that now I can trust you enough to reveal this to you, and I was like, the fuck?
Like, I understand if she was like scared in the beginning, and which is why she was like so, distant, and scared. But like I was hoping, frazzled, exactly. So I would understand that, but like I was hoping that maybe eventually she would like realize that these two are trying to protect her.
Yeah, I don't understand what it was about watching the orc die that made her go, well, now I can trust them. Now I need to use this wand. Fine. Now I can trust you.
Yeah,
Why?
apparently not running away from the evil elves and the evil gangs was worthy enough. Like, no, she had to wait till, like, one of them actually died.
Yeah, it's like, literally one of the first things you saw was one of these guys murdering 4 dirty cops who were going to use the wand for their own power. That kind of lets you know he's on, he's on your side.
Yeah, it's like, wouldn't you have used your magic wand to, like, put a shield up around them?
That's the other thing about this. When it got to that point when she used this wand to revive him, and it's basically like confirmed, this wand lets you do whatever you want, it raised a very important question. Why are we concerned for them? If they have a weapon that lets them do whatever, why don't... A couple minutes before this, they had a shootout in a gas station, which is one of the dumbest fucking action sequences I've seen all year. It was a car
just
driving into this gas station, and it's not like guys got out with guns. One person got out with guns and was like marching around, like shooting, like at the fucking Terminator. While the other person was trying to drive the car back and forth, slamming it fork into the wall. Meanwhile, the elf lady is doing flips all over the place like she's made out of paper. Like she's a little paper football. Just like, yeah, the freaking like action scenes in here of like the elves flipping, it made me go, what the... I get that the elves are supposed to be more agile, but are they lighter than humans? I don't understand these rules, which if they're lighter than humans, why are their punches hurting these guys so much? Like, there's a... Like, orcs we know have super strength, but there's a moment in which an elf comes up and just like punches him several times and goes, oh no, oh, I'm down. I was like, if the elves are that fucking light, he should barely be able to lift a fucking chair to hit you with.
Exactly.
And you're basically made of stone. I watched you get hit with a car multiple times, and you're still fine and up and walking.
Yeah, and like there was another scene where like Will Smith was like getting a shit beat at him by this orc gang, and it's like he should be dead by now.
Yeah, dude. Will Smith has like 10 orcs gang up on him and just start beating him. And it's like,
stomping on him.
These are guys who we know can lift cars. Why would you get 10 of them and go, each of you pull your punches? It's like, couldn't you just get like one guy to just do a medium punch to him and take him down? Why did you have to get 10 guys to gang up on him, but make sure they pull their punches?
Yeah, it's like with the smelling thing. It's like, it's very inconsistent.
But as I was saying, there was a moment in which they were fighting these guys in a gas station, and then after that is when they had to use the wand to revive this person, and all you could think was, why not fucking use the wand to stop the guys who are trying to kill you in the gas station? Why not use this to stop the people chasing you? You have the thing in your possession. Early on in this film, you got it. Early, like off camera, she got this weapon. And she's been running from these people ever since. Like, the moment, because they came at her with this weapon, she got them to drop it, then she grabbed it, and then she like fused one of them into a wall and turned them into weird some art mural painting. Like, I don't know what the fuck was the point of that.
I don't know either. It's like, oh, it looks pretty.
Yeah.
This is what we wasted all our effects on.
Sadly, that was the only good-looking thing in this entire film.
Yeah, they wasted all their money on that.
But then as soon as she got the wand, why'd she go, oh, I don't have to worry about this anymore. Bam! Like they're taken care of. I don't even have to be in the fucking room for it, because like this is a magic wishing device.
Their explanation is that she's still in training. So apparently she knows how to resurrect someone from the dead, but doesn't know how to make, like, a shield.
Yeah, or, I don't know, make you freeze where you are and then just take your gun away and then it's
or
like,
like
all right.
levitate or whatever, like, you know,
fucking something.
Like, I figured like maybe it would start off small before you get to the big stuff, like.
Jesus. Okay, I know there's way more to talk about this stupid piece of shit. I'm trying to think of the stuff I liked in here. There's one exchange at the end of this film after the orc runs back into a burning building to save Will Smith, and he drops him there, and the two of them just, and they have like 3 minutes of dialogue just exchanged between the two of them. And you said it feels like they should have cut at that scene, and I was like, don't you dare! That is the only moment of likable dialogue and exchange between these people we've got in this entire film.
Yeah, but it was too late.
Too little, too late.
Yeah, well, not too little. Like I said, I felt like it dragged on a bit,
minutes,
but yeah, like if that sort of like conversation was like happening while they were like driving or on patrol or something.
And they tried to do that. There's scenes where they're trying to do that shit.
No, I don't think they were trying at all, because Will Smith is still an asshole.
No, but that's the thing. The writer was trying. The writer thought that the scenes he was writing was like, this is gonna be the most charming, charismatic exchange between them. Oh, we're gonna see how much they don't like each other, but it's still gonna be funny on there. It's like, no, it wasn't funny. It was just people being pieces of shit to each other.
It's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, like, the scene where the orc guy was like, oh, yeah, I could tell from your face. And it was like, oh, you can tell from my face? I'm like, yeah, I can read human faces pretty well. It's like, that's when you run out of pancakes. Oh, yeah, we humans like our pancakes, right? How about you show me the face when an orc shuts the fuck up and just drives to work and doesn't say anything and just keeps driving and keeps his hand on the wheel and staring out the front of the car. And that description of, like, this goes on so fucking long until it's like, okay, if you would just said, how about you show me the look of an orc when he shuts the fuck up? Okay, fine. This thing goes on for like 30 seconds of him describing how he wants this orc to shut the fuck up. And like, you have taken all the possible humor out of this moment, and now you just have Will Smith being an asshole for the next 20 seconds of this scene. Yeah, man, it's stuff where you can tell the writer thought he was being a brilliant creative mind, and like, no, you're just writing assholes, unlikable pieces of shit. And this was the only moment where we kind of got them to be likable, and it's still kind of, it still ends with Will Smith going, we're still not friends, okay?
Yeah.
But at least then the orc goes, yeah, well, I didn't really like you either. Because the orc is trying to be nice, the orc is trying to be friends with this guy, but the orc, I didn't know, like, what level of incompetence the orc was supposed to be.
Yeah, because, like, you're always saying, like, oh, orcs are supposed to be stupid and everything. It's like, but, you know, it's like, there are some times where he does seem, like, annoying, but it's like...
Yeah, was he supposed to be annoying? Was he supposed to be incompetent? Was he supposed to be good at his job, but he's just nervous, so he screws things up? Did he have anxiety? What exactly, like, why was he so bad at this job? Or was he bad at this job? Was he good at this job and people just kept saying he was bad because they never gave him a shot? Like, was it just everyone around him was bad to him and that's why he wasn't able to get work done?
Yeah, like, I feel like maybe if there were, like, previous orcs, like, maybe they're like, oh, this is the best one we've got, or something like that. But they said this is the first police orc we've ever had, so it's like, oh, I guess we can't really compare him to others.
Well, I mean, even then, like, just like if it was a human and you had a human doing this dialogue and doing these exchanges and this kind of stuff, I'd still be looking at it like, okay, you're stuttering in this scene, but you're not stuttering for the next 30 minutes of this fucking movie. Is that like a character trait of yours, or is it just something you did in that one scene? And you're being kind of clumsy in this scene, but not really clumsy, just maybe sort of clumsy, and then you're not clumsy for the next like 20 minutes of this movie, and so is it a thing that you regularly do? Like, he is just a very average dude who every now and again will do something that's like, okay, well, I guess you're incompetent, except that wasn't really that incompetent.
Yeah. It was just like normal...
it's just like, oh, you just didn't know that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, basically, common fuck-ups. Like, nothing, like, over the top that makes you, like, want to get angry and want to fire him.
Nothing that makes you ever look at this guy like, oh, you're bad at your job.
Yeah.
It makes you look at, oh, this is your first day on the job. Oh, you're new on the job. Which, since you're the first orc and no one will help train you, yeah, it kind of feels that way. It's like, are we supposed to not like this guy? I don't know.
It's like, I know I didn't like Will Smith's character.
He's a piece of shit. That's obvious, but that's the other thing. It feels like we're supposed to like Will Smith's character. Like, they want us to.
Yeah, like, he was supposed to be, like, the charismatic, like, likable guy.
The guy who knows what he's doing, the competent guy. We didn't know what he was doing, and he was a racist piece of shit in this entire film. So, yeah, there's no one to like in here except for the orc, but the orc is just kind of a guy. Again, it feels like this film had an idea in his mind of what everybody was supposed to be, and they weren't that. But this film feels like it was really trying to look at you like, yeah, didn't I do a good job making this character like that? No. I still don't know what that character is supposed to be. Also, the story structure of this thing is dog shit. It feels like they missed the entire second act of this film. Yeah, because the moment when they find the wand, that feels like, hey, dog outside. The moment they find the wand, it feels like that should be the start of Act 2. Like, that's when it's like, okay, all the setup. Okay, we found out about all this information, all the setup, everything's happening. Oh, they found the big MacGuffin. Now they're on the run, and this will be the time when these characters bond. This is when we get the history of this world. This is when we get their different belief systems. This is when we get the way that this world works. This is when we get all these different characters being set up. This is when we get all these characters kind of moving together. No! They find the wand, then they meet a couple different gangs, then they use the wand to bring the orc guy back to life, and it's like, well, now we have to go to the place and actually confront the evil elf person. I was like, that's Act 3. Where the fuck did Act 2 go? Where are we right now?
It's like you complain about you were complaining about like the writing, directing, and acting. It's like, what about the editing? Like
editing's fine. It's maybe it's because this was by David Ayers, so the whole time I just kept comparing this to Suicide Squad. So I was like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. But yeah, that's the thing that you have to realize. Editing is really only bad when they take something that's good and chop it to shit, or they take something that is competent and comprehensive and understandable and chop it to shit so that you can't do any of that stuff. This really, again, I look at this and I was like, this is 2 hours long. You didn't cut a fucking thing out of this. This is an entire established film. Because, yeah, at the end of this film, it's like, yeah, they didn't grow or bond or get to know each other at all.
I guess what I'm confusing editing with proofreading.
Again, this is not, again, I said early on, this film was not proofread.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, this film really just feels like a jumbled mess, and one of the worst things is the dialogue. Listen, I know for a fact I cannot write cop dramas. I cannot write police work. I've tried it, you know, I do some writing every now and again just for fun. I've seen what happens when I try and write like a noir or a crime drama or something like that, or a police film. I know I suck at it. This feels like what I would write, except I can look at my shit and go, this is bad. This didn't feel like it. This feels like it took all the mistakes that I make when I try and write police stuff and just went, this is genius. I'm going to do more of it. Yeah, the dialogue and the police stuff in here is just garbage. And one of the reasons why the dialogue is so bad is because, as I said, nobody in this film cared. Every line of dialogue delivered was like, I just need to get that check. Just say this and then walk off the set and never come back. Ever. Everybody just acted like they had run a marathon and they were there at the finish line. Like, I can't, just gotta go. Just get there. Just get to that line. Okay. Oh God. Oh God. Oh, gotta go sleep now. Will Smith so doesn't care about, I mean, even the extras, even the people who was like, shouldn't this be like your opportunity to try and like shine, like trying to show yourself off? Every extra in here is just like, come on, man. You know that we can't do that to orcs. Like, oh.
Like, speaking of extras, like, there are two characters that I was interested in. It was like the,
Go on. I just realized what you were gonna say. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, the magic feds, like it's basically a human and an elf, and like their job is to like, you know, investigate stuff that involves with magic.
They're from the Magic FBI.
Yeah, basically the Magic FBI, and you'd think that since this crime involves a wand, they would get a notice about this and be in this movie more. Nope.
No, that's why they were here. They did know about this. They were on the search for this.
They were on the search, but Will Smith and the orc never told them about it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's like, I feel like this movie should be about the Magic FBI and not these two bum-ass cops.
The two beat cops on this thing is like, honestly, again, I think the idea of two cops discovering like this would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Especially if it turned out that the magic feds were corrupt.
Yeah, but they're not corrupt.
But they're not.
No,
so there's no fucking reason.
I thought that was the whole reason why they were keeping it away, but no, it's like, no, we got this. And it's like, no, you obviously don't. You're like,
well, I understand there was a point in which he said, we don't know who is corrupt, but then there comes a moment in which they're just like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but again, at least those two guys felt like they were trying.
Yeah, and
like the elf dude was like, I'm going to be the high talking, like the very pristine elf. And his human buddy was like Barry Burton, basically just, yeah, come on, guys. Like it felt like they wanted a John Goodman type.
Yeah.
And John Goodman read the script and went, go fuck yourself. Yeah, but it really did feel like, okay, big burly human guy, very intelligent, smart, suave elf guy. It's like, yeah, okay, that's a pretty good combination.
Also, like, the elf guy actually, like, gave some background. It's like, I've been after these rogue elves for thousands of years. Like, okay, that's interesting. Please talk more about this. And then they just cut away and he's like, ah, fuck.
Oh, was I about to playing backstory on my world? Get that the shit out of here. I'll bring that back if I ever have to bail my ass out for not knowing how to explain this script. Jesus. Okay, so, yeah, really, I did find those guys kind of interesting, and I would definitely have wanted to see more of them. But this film, again, it has no idea what the fuck it's doing. This film is bad dialogue, bad pacing. They don't do enough with the cool world that they set up. And the way that it tries to do social commentary, again, kudos to you for trying, but all the boos to you for fucking it up as bad as you did.
Yeah.
I get being concerned about trying to do social commentary with something like this because, like, okay, if I fuck this up, it's gonna look bad. This guy fucked it up and kept going with it. Like, as I said, this feels so fucking arrogant. This feels like a guy who's like, I'm a genius. No, everyone will praise the way that I was able to capture the struggles of everyone with these orcs.
Now, Zootopia did it way better.
Oh,
like,
God. So, a fucking children's film did what you tried to do in an R-rated David Ayers cop drama and schooled the fuck out of you. So, yeah, this movie's bad. I was honestly trying to think if this is worse than Emoji Movie, which right now is probably my worst film of the year. Although, I'll admit, Emoji Movie was not as bad as I was expecting it to be, because my expectations were low.
yeah, everyone's expectations for that movie were
So
low.
yeah, my expectations were here, and it was here, so at least I was kind of like, alright, well, at least there's that. There's nothing really good in that film. It just wasn't as insulting as I thought it was going to be. But it wasn't arrogant. And this film, it's probably better than the Emoji film, except it's so fucking arrogant with what it's doing. And man, yeah, I think that pushes it past it. There's still about 2 or 3 other films out there that people have called the worst films of the year that I haven't watched, and we will be doing that next week during the Gauntlet of Garbage. Stay tuned for that shit. We will also be doing the Quest for the Best, where I watch all the films that people have called the best films of the year. So I will have that as my palate cleanser. Don't think that this whole channel is just me coming in here and just ranting and raving.
Although a lot of people do like that.
Oh, dude, the Gauntlet of Garbage videos last year got 4 times as many views as the Quest for Best videos. So, yeah, what are you gonna do? I understand it, man. I love seeing people rant and rave about bad films online too. I get it. I'm not gonna look at you guys and go, don't you people have any class? No, it's fun. It's fucking fun watching people watch bad films. So why do you think MST3K has lasted for 2 decades? No, more than that, jeez. It's on its 30th anniversary, isn't it? It's close. Like 25th, at least. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to see more post-Geekout reactions, we didn't even do the intro this week in which I said, oh, this is not a review. In the review, I have no spoilers. Yeah, we didn't even do that because we just wanted to get into this.
Yeah, we're just like everyone else who was in this movie. We just wanted to get the shit over with. Like,
rip that Band-Aid off. But yeah, if you guys want to see more post-Geekout reactions, then hit that subscribe button, or you can always follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr at Professor Thorgy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Come back next time.
Bye.
Bye.